up, everybody? It's Sam, and we are back with another episode of Pessimistic at Best, the podcast. And I have Manu on the pod.
It's me. I'm Manu, and I'm holding the mic.
to have you here. Yeah, right? It feels natural.
It
You
does.
look amazing.
I do this all the time, for sure. I don't. They don't know that, though.
They have no idea.
None at all.
Well, I'm happy to have you on this podcast. It's been fun hanging today.
I think so, too. You guys are very easy to talk to and, like, a lot of fun so far. So
I
it definitely...
paid her to say that.
Yeah. It wasn't much, though. So that's where the compliment ends.
Yeah, that's it. We're cheap today. No, this was like, I mean, I feel like I remember meeting you at a friend's party and thinking you were a good vibe, and now it's confirmed.
Thank you. One time, someone told me that my first impression was about the best that I am, and it goes all downhill from there.
Oh my god.
So
oh my god.
I would like to think this is a second impression and it's still going well.
Yeah, you're nailing it.
Thank you.
Acing the quiz.
Yes. I'm so academically oriented too, so this is really good for me. I'm not. I keep saying things that I'm not.
Well, I thought it was really interesting when you told me that you speaking of academics, didn't write a lot of papers, because I hate a quiz. I hate a test. I hate an exam, but I can write a paper.
I can understand that for sure, because I think with the paper, it's like similar vibes where it's like you can say something, and as long as you justify it within like the next few sentences or the rest of the paper, you're fine. You're good. What you just said made sense.
Yeah.
With a quiz though, it's like you answer A and it's like, that was actually the crazy
That's wrong.
option.
Yeah.
And it's like, now you can't justify anything to the teacher. The teacher thinks you're an idiot.
True.
Yeah.
Well, because my thing always was like, with math, for example, almost especially math, I never understood why, like, I am just trying to prove that I can get to an answer that somebody else has already decided.
Yeah.
And somebody else already figured this out. I don't need to prove that I can do that. But I like papers because it's really about me and what I think. And that feels more accessible to me.
Yeah.
Math, I was always like, okay, somebody else already did this. We know the answer. Why do I also need to prove that I can achieve these results?
For me, math is almost like the essay writing of like the STEM world, because like similar where it's like, okay, yeah, there's an answer. Somebody already decided that. But if you show enough work and thought behind that work, you can kind of justify whatever bullshit number you pull out. Like,
Sure.
It could be so. A lot of the tests that I took that were related to math, like a single question would have 20 points assigned to it, which like you would think is crazy. You're only looking for the one answer, but it's like 19 of those points are bullshit. Like as long as you're making up the right things in the right sequence, they'll give it to you.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I don't know though. Like I do hear what you're saying. Like that is a little bit more intimidating because they are looking for something specific.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know about you, but whenever someone is looking for something specific from me, the pressure is, I'm being squashed by it. Like I'm not going to achieve it for you. I'm sorry.
No, I like to sort of be left to my own devices and be able to kind of just emote something, which is what writing is. I'm excited for you in your writing class though. That sounds like it will be really cool. Have you started?
No, so that starts next Saturday.
Okay.
What I do know is that should I do like context a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So what Sam and I were talking about before this a little bit was that I have started to take improv classes at Second City in Chicago, and they've been going so well to the point where I finished like 5 levels of it and auditioned to continue on and do more levels. The thing about those more levels though is that the first 5 levels being improv is that I get to make stuff up, and whatever I get to make up, it's in a team setting and we all kind of help each other get to the right answer eventually. Like writing a paper, like doing math. But with sketch comedy or the higher levels, it's like we all sit there and we write sketches that we're going to perform for an audience. And so there's judgment associated with the writing that I'm about to get into, which is where I mentioned the fact that like I haven't been judged on writing in so long. I am excited to get started on that process because I think that like I tweet, I'll like write funny captions for my Instagrams. Like I'll give those like a lot of thought.
Yeah.
My Instagram stories, like I'll like what I'll do is, this is kind of crazy maybe, is I'll go
Save space.
I'll go in and I'll like edit them and then I'll save them to my phone. I'll watch them like in succession in my camera roll, and then I'll continue to tweak them until I think it's good.
I think that is a normal human experience.
Do you think so? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I was like, I am so crazy for just like coming in and like tweaking one word at a time and like rehearsing what my story would look like as a whole.
Yeah.
But to be able to get to do that in like a way that is comedically funny for an audience will be cool.
Yeah.
Because I have no idea what about what I do and say makes another person laugh.
Sure.
And to get it on paper
Yeah.
and get feedback on it, it's like, oh, okay, so it's like training. It's like, I'll be like, okay, this is what a joke is. I've had no idea what a joke is my whole life, but now I get it.
Yeah. No, that's so true. I think it also, I mean, it sounds equally fun and challenging to have to do that with a team.
Yeah. Because, like, creative people, you're creative. You work at creative spaces. Everyone's going to have an opinion.
For sure.
And everyone's going to come
A
in
strong
with
one.
An incredibly
Yeah.
strong one. So far, navigating strong opinions have been, like, in the workplace against, like, 40-year-old white dudes who, for me...
Famously bad opinions most of the time.
You know what? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care. It's software engineering, and it's, like, technically this is your guys' thing, but, like, hey... whatever, dude.
Yeah.
So I like let those strong opinions kind of go and flow as they may, because ultimately that has not, I don't have any pride in what I'm doing over there. That's just for a paycheck.
Yeah.
See if I care.
That's so real.
But like now that I pride myself on being funny, and if you're gonna be like, okay, let's write something funny together, and I pitch something and you're like, oh no,
Right.
what's that gonna do
That's
to
a
me?
dagger to the heart.
Yeah, I don't know. So, yeah, writing as a team with other creative people, it'll be like, yeah, just new waters entirely. How do you delicately like navigate and do all that stuff?
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't
and
know.
even just getting on the same page in terms of like general theme or vibe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's gonna be really, really tough. Another like blessing with improv is that like you can say whatever, and the other person has to yes and it.
Yeah,
Like,
so true. That is so fucking true.
it's so true, right? So it's like I could take it in the craziest direction imaginable in a scene, and like they're
Rolling
gonna
with the punches.
roll it with the punches. But then like if we're writing something together, they're just gonna hit the delete button and be like, that was bonkers of you. Why did you say that? Like,
Yeah.
we're not gonna be able to work with that at all, actually.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, do you know, is it going to be a similar group to the improv group that you have been working with these last couple years?
No, it's not gonna be, which is also
Okay,
like
brand new.
so scary. There's psychological safety associated with all of this, where it's like we're goofing off, our jokes may bomb, we might like say stuff that we aren't used to saying just because
Yeah.
we're caught up in the heat of a scene. So it's like the people that I've done the past few sections with, we have like a very strong cohesive chemistry.
Right.
But now for these next few levels, after the audition, they cast you kind of.
Oh, I see. I see.
So they had a Tuesday, Saturday, Sunday section. You mark your availability down, and they put you wherever they want to put you with
Okay.
whoever they want to put you with. A couple of people are coming with me, like that are familiar. But yeah, it's like we're being split up as a group. which is kinda
Crazy.
scary.
That is
Yeah.
scary. Well, I think it sounds really cool. Is the ultimate goal for you, would you say like TV writing? I know you mentioned you watch a lot of TV.
Oh my God, I do. I do. Ultimate goal as a question is something I should be a little bit more prepared to answer.
There doesn't even have to be one.
There isn't currently. I started this as like I was rewatching 30 Rock when I first moved to Chicago, which was October. And if you Wikipedia, and I'm on Wikipedia for anything. We were at a concert. This is such a side story. But Claire and then a couple other friends in that like friend group, we were all at Maggie Rogers. And
Oh, I'm so jealous.
she is such a good performer.
She is so good. Her voice is really doing something for me. Yeah.
It's flawless in
Angelic.
performance too. Angelic.
Yeah.
Whatever. So talented. The opener was there, and like we like were like he was on YouTube, he was in Brockhampton. We were like trying to figure out who he was. Immediately, I'm just on Wikipedia at the concert venue being like, Clovis, California was where he was. Well, very cool.
I could not tell you the last time I pulled up a Wikipedia page. I'm loving this about you.
Sam, I don't even know how you get through a minute of your life, actually.
Yes.
What?
I need to be spending more time on Wikipedia.
You feel like a very curious person. I'm just
I mean, I'm just like Googling things, but I feel like the Wikipedia page is not the first one that I'm clicking on.
Oh, are you looking at the AI generated Google?
Sometimes.
Okay,
I have become a little bit more reliant on ChatGPT these days as well.
sure.
Sometimes I go there instead of Google.
Okay, and here's what I'm gonna say. That's totally fine. ChatGPT, like I feel like a large part of its training data is just Reddit.
Yeah.
And whenever I'm Googling something, I'm like, how leaves grow, Reddit. So it's like, I'm looking for that answer anyway. So I feel like you're getting the good parts of it.
Yeah.
You did originally ask me, though, about what my end goal was.
Yes.
And I did launch it to a story and took it somewhere else.
That's okay. This podcast is exactly for that.
Good, but I'm going to take it back. I'm going
Okay,
to take it back to the original question. So I started it just because, like, if you Wikipedia anyone on 30 Rock's name, you'll see Second City mentioned.
Okay.
And I had an inkling I was funny up until that point in my life.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, people do tend to laugh.
Yeah.
Generally. But I never knew what that meant because I tried to write stand up and I've tried to like write down a sketch and I'm like, none of this, my words are not funny. They're not good. So I tried like an hour-long drop-in class.
Okay.
Where it's yeah, just like very much like just be playful. That's all we're asking of you in this hour. And I was like, this clicks with me.
Cool.
And I think like to have something click with you,
I mean, that's major. Yeah.
that is major. Because like
You gotta listen to that.
you do. Because you think like, okay, I've been here 27 years. I'm sure I know what clicks with me. No, I don't.
Yeah.
There's something new.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I just kind of like followed that and kept signing up for the levels.
Cool.
Because it like never stopped being fun.
Yeah.
So my end goal is to not have not fun.
And I think that is a perfect end goal.
Thank you.
Because everybody wants to have fun. Well, I love improv. It's so fun. I have so many. I've never done it myself, but I love to go to the shows. We have a lot of like mutuals in the scene. I should actually introduce you to some of my friends who love improv. But I feel like for me, relying on the audience would be scary. Like, what if they're flops?
Yeah, I have, and I noticed this maybe not during the drop-in, but during Improv 1, I noticed that I was blacking out.
Okay, totally.
I have, at the beginning, I would go up there, I would do a scene, I would sit down, and whatever just happened was beyond my business.
Yeah.
It was between the class and God at that point.
Absolutely.
I was just a vessel. I really didn't know what was going on. People would be like, that thing you did was so good. I'd be like, yeah. Whatever
I'll
she
never
did up
know.
there was good.
Literally.
It's changed though, as time has passed, and as it could be just like a comfort thing, like it was my brain protecting me from myself and just
Yeah.
like kind of leaning into it. But as time has gone past, I have started to like hear the laughs and like remember scenes back as like beat for
Sure.
beat what happened. And I think what has stopped me from like being so focused on the laugh or like focusing on like whether or not that was a flop was the simple fact that I'm just having fun doing this.
Yeah.
Which sounds like a cliche, but I didn't know what that meant until it started to happen to me, where it was like, oh, can I swear on this podcast?
Absolutely. I actually have to individually go in and mark every single episode as explicit. Which always I feel a little bit of shame about it, but then I'm like, whatever. I have a potty mouth, so.
Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
Because like, yeah, when I'm up there and it's like something doesn't work, I'm like, well, fuck them, whatever. I thought that was funny. You know? Yeah. It also like works amongst friends too, where it's like ultimately I know that I've gotten funnier amongst my friends. Like,
Yeah.
I think that they're laughing harder, faster, better.
I love that.
Yeah,
I
no.
love that.
Oh, and for a person like me, it's like, oh, okay, if the laughs are coming easier, I'm gonna take it every
No,
time.
absolutely. We're feeding off of that energy for sure.
For sure. And so it's like if the audience doesn't find it funny, I'm like, you know what? At the end of the day, I know my friends got me. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
It's cool. You're fine. So.
Well, and I feel like, I mean, improv is such a good skill in terms of just like wit and quickness. Like it really, you are on your feet for those skits. So it's so fun. But I heard you mention musical improv. We have a friend who did that. That was unlike anything I have ever witnessed before. I didn't realize that was an option. It was so fun to kind of see them all on stage. Like, I think my favorite part is everybody trying to, kind of simultaneously agree on what the chorus is going to be. That is amazing. That's so hilarious.
It's magic.
It is.
Music improv, that completely escapes me.
Yeah.
It's like even amongst my section, I'm like kind of known to try to dodge it as much as I can, and like
yeah.
they'll be like, who wants to come up and play this music improv game? I'm like in the corner. I'm like,
I know you're not looking at me.
Did you?
Yeah,
like just like anyone else except for me. So yeah, whenever I watch them do that, I'm like, how do you have like that group mind? How do you come in there
Oh, I know.
into that chorus? Like, not only are you coordinating the piano,
Yeah.
but you're doing like regular improv, and then you're singing about it. It's beyond me. There's this one girl in my class, her name is Rachel, and like she ended up taking just one music improv class, and she like it might have been the instructor, it might have been like something about the curriculum, because I know they like fluctuate and their offering of it. She like didn't think much of the class, but at our show and like in rehearsals for our show, she was like doing music improv at like a level that I'd never seen before. And it's just like just that small amount of practice, like, because you never train that part of your brain.
Yeah.
So it's like the second you engage with it even slightly, like you are shooting like beyond everyone else, and like are able to just perform at levels that are kind of unfathomable. So
no, it's so impressive. Yeah. Well, and then they're all kind of just like, you know, looking at each other, making eye contact, kind of trying to figure out if this is going to be the thing that they're all going to sing. And that's so fun to witness.
It is. It's silent negotiation and like social like cues and stuff.
Absolutely.
You got it. Yeah. It does have to be like a heightened thing. I almost went into like improv and comedy knowing that like, okay, you have to have like heightened social and like all these other cues, and I just kind of assumed that everybody kind of operated like that outside of the classroom.
Sure.
And I'm not gonna say I'm like a social savant where I like walk into a situation, I'm like, oh, I know what's happening here, what all the dynamics are. I'm definitely I'm awkward and I like can't handle that kind of thing. But it's cool that like in this one context we're all able to pull that out of ourselves and like build on it and like
absolutely
deliver.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's magic. It's so cool to witness. Okay, well, I want to know more about your internet habits. You're a Reddit girl.
I am a huge Reddit girl. I'm a huge Wikipedia girl.
I'm loving that.
Mainline. Okay. You've actually caught me at a very interesting point in my life.
Okay.
Where I am really trying to get away from the internet.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
I do not blame you.
It's just it's become too much and it's become too similar.
Yeah.
And it's become too like purposeless.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Well, and I feel like I heard you mention Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
How would you say you're still as active on that platform as you were pre Elon Musk? I feel like he kind of fucked it up a little bit.
He did fuck it up in that, like, why am I seeing some of this content?
I know.
I've never engaged with this and I'm never going to. Yeah. So fuck you.
I feel like all my favorite people also aren't as active on the platform anymore. I had my Twitter used to be, that was my favorite website. And I had it curated to like all my favorite like podcasters, comedians, everything on there was so funny to me. I knew that if I was logging onto that little glorious website, I was going to have a laugh. And now I get on there and it's like just depressing.
It's so depressing. You have to scour for something. I have an addictive personality, which means like, and I have been on Twitter since like what, 2014, so it's been like decades, right? So my brain still heavily associates it with what it used to be.
Yeah.
And I think my unfortunate answer is I think I find it as funny as I used to.
Yeah.
But what I've noticed is like I was putting in hours like trying to recreate what used to happen on there, but you're right, it's just not as good as it used to be.
Did you try Threads?
I hopped on there for like a quick minute and then saw what was going on with like all the celebrities and like brands, and I'm like, oh, corporate Twitter.
Yeah, literally. So true. But I respect your mission to be offline.
I think my original love of the internet was like discovery.
Yeah.
And like finding something cool.
Wikipedia.
And Wikipedia and like indie websites where like, you know how people used to have like personal blogs?
Yeah.
And so just like Googling for a topic and then like finding some random person who posted about it one time on their little personal like WordPress or blog or whatever.
Yeah.
That used to be like what it was. And then we aggregated everything, right? Like now we had like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and they all had their own purposes. And then all the platforms just became TikTok.
I know.
And that's what killed it for me.
That's so real. TikTok was one of those ones where, you know, me being millennial coded, I feel like I was a late adopter. And
when did you get into it?
I feel like I mainly like, I was like, that's probably a good platform to promote a podcast. So for selfish reasons, I was like, I should probably self-promote on here. But now I'm completely absorbed. And I will say that algorithm knows exactly what it's doing. It is serving me exactly what I want to see. So I know, again, I'm going to get on there and have a good time. But I'm like, it's just like now every single platform is repeating that exact same with like a shittier algorithm.
Oh yeah,
but that same formula.
TikTok's was so good.
Yeah.
I say was because I deleted it in 2021.
Oh my god, good for you.
And I have never re-downloaded it since.
I'm so impressed.
But like this is embarrassing. My screen time back in those days, like specifically because of TikTok, was like 14 hours.
I know.
And it wasn't like I was unemployed or anything. I had a full-time job. It's just, I don't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
So I had to get rid of it. And the thing about addictions is that they always like translate into something else.
Sure.
So then it like fed into Twitter, but then Twitter got Elon'd.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, this sucks.
Yeah.
And then you would think that Instagram with its reels would suck me in, but another way to get over an addiction is to like vilify it.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I hate short form content. I have never seen anything that was worth my time short form content wise, which is such a lie. I'm such a sucker for a recipe video. You put a chicken
Oh my God, yeah.
in there. I'm like, what are we going to do with that thing?
No, like, let's see.
Yeah. Oh, you made some rice to go with it? How novel.
Absolutely. Yeah. I feel like for me, well, okay. So far, your internet habits are reminding me a lot of James's. They're almost like middle school boy.
Oh, God.
And I don't go on Reddit much. Do you YouTube? Are you a YouTube girl?
Oh, I am a YouTube girl. And I think this is where a little bit of like a guilty pleasure comes out. I'm not. Oh, I have like my geopolitics YouTubers and like my I'll watch like business case studies, like why Lululemon is sucking right now. I'll be like, yeah. Well, I don't actually.
We're learning a little something.
Yeah, but then I am all about the lifestyle girlies.
Okay, I love that. Okay, uncharacteristic characteristic.
Oh, is that like something unexpected you learn about a person? Okay, yeah, because you're right, middle school boy up until right now. That's a girl trait, maybe.
Okay, I love that. Oh, and who are your go-tos?
Oh, fuck. It is all over the place right now, though. I think just because their Reddit gets recommended to me often, and it's all like snark and mean. I've been watching them just to see like what do these people hate about them, and I totally see it. Like the people in that subreddit they're mean, but they're kind of justified.
Totally.
It's like this one girl Danielle and this one girl Brooke.
Oh, I've been seeing the tea about them online. Yes.
Yeah, and it's all.
Do you have a podcast?
They do. They do. Right? Like you guys don't like meet up. They do, and like the stuff that gets like recommended to me from their subreddit is always stuff like these girls do nothing all day, and I am very intrigued by people who do nothing all day.
No, it's fascinating
because I don't know what I do all day, but it's got to be something.
Yeah.
So what does it mean?
Certainly feels like a little something. Yeah.
I get through it. Like I feel fulfilled sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what does that mean to watch someone do nothing all day? Like, what does that truly look like?
Yeah.
And it feels like they do something, but it doesn't also feels like they do absolutely nothing. They don't really have like thoughts and opinions, but which is fine. It's tough out here. Like,
I think it's hard to form thoughts and opinions if you aren't doing very many things.
Oh, so true.
Yeah.
And then also like to have your whole life on the internet. Like I'm assuming that it's like a protective thing. Like you don't actually want to put stuff out there just in case it comes back to you.
Yeah, is
maybe what I'm thinking for them. But they're just perfect. Like I work from home and it just feels like I need someone around.
Yeah.
And
that's so true. That is kind of what that kind of content is.
Yeah. So it's like I pop over, oh, they're making a coffee. You know?
Yeah.
I pop over, oh, they're going to workout class. Okay.
And we're coming.
Yeah. I'm watching. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, oh, you know what? This is actually super boring. So it's like I'm watching these things. I'm getting absolutely nothing out of them, but it's just like company.
Yeah.
And it's like if they were interesting, that would almost be detrimental because it's like now I'm pulled away and watching you. But now it's like we're hanging. It's like a FaceTime where it's like I really don't have to contribute.
Yeah. No, that's so good. Like those FaceTimes, I've totally had those where you just set it up and it's like, this is really just to feel like I'm existing in the same space as somebody, but I don't actually want to talk to you.
Yeah, no. You're lucky though. My friends are yappers. So it's like I get on FaceTime, it's like, okay, here we go. Which is good because I don't classify myself as a yapper, which is why I was intimidated by this whole thing.
Okay.
I feel like I'm doing well so far.
You're seeming like a yapper to me. I would put you in that category.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go silent for the next 36 hours.
Perfect.
But yeah, no, like my friends get on there and I think what it is like so many of my friends are just like not in the city that I'm at. So
yeah, it
is like treasured time of like, let's just get it all out right now. Tell me everything. And then
see those kind of FaceTimes I actually have to like build up for. Like that's gonna be a session is what that is.
And I gotta active listen and I gotta remember, okay, this person, that person, we know these people from there and like yeah.
putting in some work for sure. I'm trying to get into YouTube. I was never really a YouTube person. James loves YouTube and Reddit. But I feel like for me, I have recently discovered like the Architectural Digest tours.
Yeah.
Seeing inside rich people's homes. How fun is that?
Have you seen Aaron Paul's?
No.
Yeah, no, he has a sleeper house. It's like in Montana or Wyoming or some shit. Beautiful big windows.
I love when it's in an unexpected place. Yeah. So good. Oh my God, what is his name? Country singer with the...
Oh, I don't know country singers.
Completely drawing a blank. A gorgeous house.
If only we knew.
I know.
What did he have going on? Like, what do you remember?
I want to say his house is somewhere in California. Classic, of course, aren't they all? But it's definitely been like passed down from other celebrities. Like I can't remember exactly like, it was like a Grateful Dead person or someone had previously lived in the house and like etched their name into like the banister on the stairs. And the house was like definitely... It wasn't crazy big. It had like some country elements to it, like farmhouse kind of vibe. But I don't know. It was just so unique and interesting. And it still had tons of personality.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like some of them, Winnie Harlow's house, no personality.
No way.
She just had like giant photos of herself everywhere.
Oh, and it's like, we get it. You're a model.
Yeah. I mean, if I looked like that, I would probably do the same.
Yeah. Let me look at myself one more time. Yeah. Let me get another gander.
But it was like all black and gold, you know. Very
classic.
Yeah.
Kendall Jenner's house is also pretty gorgeous. I know she probably hired someone to like infuse that personality and get that in there, but I don't know. I'd like to think that she had like, obviously she put together a mood board or like something or the other.
She had to have at least some influence, you have to assume.
Yeah. And it looks good. So good. Kim's place is, you know,
Stone.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't like that.
I feel like she does everything for the bit.
You think so? Like it's all just like one big joke on us?
Yes. I feel like everything is just like a publicity stunt. Like having a completely stone house is so a PR move.
Right, like she's just trying to market something to us like, hey, look, I'm normal. Look at my house. It's very normal. Yeah. But it's like, actually, you've achieved the opposite.
Yeah, your house is insane. And then she like came out with like a line of like stone tissue box holders.
Right, yeah, because I needed that.
Right.
Yeah, and people are on the street clamoring for that kind of thing. So thank God she did that.
Seriously, yeah. She's really doing something for us.
Or maybe it's like the unattainability of it, like that's probably what she's aiming for. Like, hey, I'm actually so far above you that this is the level of detail I'm operating on. Yeah. Stone tissue box holders.
So true. And that's her right, I suppose.
I suppose too. Are you like detail oriented in a strange way like that? Like,
yes. Okay. I mean, in terms of like decorating a house, I find that to be so fun. I love being of the age where I can like infuse my personal style into my home.
Yes.
I think that's so fun. I understand why some people find it intimidating. I think if you don't totally know what your vibe is, it can be hard to furnish an entire house. But I wouldn't say that I would go so far as to curate a tissue box holder.
Right. Yeah.
The details, maybe you see them in other areas of the house.
For sure. One detail I really liked was these, what are those, binoculars? Yes. I love those.
We thrifted those. I actually used them for one of my podcast photo shoots for like promotion this year, but yeah, I love a knickknack.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm a huge knickknack person too. I'm just bad at getting them.
Yeah.
Which you would think like a knickknack person would love to acquire them, but
I understand though, it's not the most practical thing to spend your money on.
I talk myself out of it every time, and it's like, no, this would bring me great joy, but I just don't do it.
That's why I like to thrift them. Somehow that feels free.
Yeah. It's also like adopting. It's like, this is mine now.
Yeah.
And it feels like I can release you into the wild later.
Yeah.
I definitely felt that though in my early 20s, where it's like every furniture decision that I was making, I was like, well, this is it.
I know.
This is going to define me for the rest of my life. Why did I think that? This is IKEA.
And we're buying something from Wayfair. Yeah, absolutely. I think that is something upon moving here. I was like, also, this house just is older than anywhere I've lived before, where I was like, it would feel wrong to furnish this with IKEA and Wayfair exclusively.
Yeah.
And so then I've been doing lots of Facebook Marketplace. I'm addicted to Facebook Marketplace.
That's my thing too.
Yeah.
I'm on there every day.
Me too. I love to check it.
I don't even know what I'm looking for.
I'm
now.
like not even close to looking for an apartment. We just signed another 2-year lease, but I love looking at apartment listings on there.
Oh, I did not know. Oh, okay. So they clearly have a little bit of an algorithm going.
Absolutely.
I had no idea that they're. Oh, that would explain why I looked up desk, and the only thing I'm seeing is desks. I can't transport any of you. I just ordered one online, but okay. So apartment listings.
Oh, it's so good.
God.
Apparently I have something for interior design in homes. I love to just look at homes.
I think you do too, because it's gorgeous in here.
Thank you.
So when I moved here, it was a similar thing too, where it was like up in Minneapolis, because I've always been like, I'm gonna get out of Minneapolis, and this is the year I'm gonna do it, and it was never that year.
Yeah.
So finally, when it did become the year that I got out of there, and moved into my place, I wanted to make sure that what I was buying and putting in there wasn't like. It wasn't out of fear of like, oh my God, this is going to define me for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But it was also not something that I wanted to do out of convenience either, where it was like, yeah, just let me get the most inoffensive bed frame of all time and like
totally
call it a day there. And so it's been fun to like figure out what I do and don't like and take that process kind of slowly and do that. And I think maybe that's the intimidating piece for a lot of people, because it was for me.
Yeah.
Where it's like I'm sitting here with a very empty apartment for months on end.
Yeah.
Just because it's like I have a specific idea, look, and want that I want to achieve. And
well, because if you rush into it, that is when you end up like with like the cheap shit that isn't gonna last you very long and that you probably don't actually like that much.
Right, like you feel very regretful of it.
Yeah.
Which I think you would think would be the opposite with Facebook Marketplace, because you're like, oh, this thing is gonna only be here for a couple hours, so it's like a split decision almost. So but it's like I've been hunting for something that looked like that exact thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's what makes that a more informed decision than like hopping online and getting something.
Yeah. No, it's amazing the things that you'll find on there.
Yeah.
I know we're just like acquaintances really, but I follow her on Instagram, and she'll post like the craziest things she'll find on Facebook Marketplace. Yeah. At this point, I assume she's also probably taking some submissions, but it is so entertaining. The shit people sell on there, it is just crazy.
Have you seen people try to sell mirrors on Facebook?
Oh my God, yes. And like taking the photos. That's so good. It's so good.
There was one that I found where he put a blanket on him, and he put glasses, like inexplicably. Like, I don't know why he did it. He put glasses over the blanket, and then he took a picture.
Honestly, like, I'll buy it.
No, I loved it.
Funny.
It's really funny. Completely unnecessary. Just feel like you could have captured the mirror in any other way, but really obsessed with that's the solution he came up with.
I follow Zillow Gone Wild on Instagram, which is an Instagram account that essentially just shows you like really, really crazy homes. And every once in a while, it'll just be like a crazy Zillow listing of like a pretty normal house, but then like there will be like a guy sitting in all of the photos, or like a cat doing something crazy. Yeah. Those are my favorite. Like I'm like the crazy homes are interesting, but I love when there's just like a little bit going on in your Zillow listing. What an odd place to decide to be humorous.
No, seriously. I think I've seen the cat stuff, but like a guy sitting just like in each of the pictures. That's crazy to me. That's funny.
So good. Or like there will sometimes be ones where they'll do like a ghost or something, like try to make it like, oh, this house is haunted.
Yeah, because that's gonna make me buy it, knowing that the previous owners were funny.
Yeah, right. I know, it's so bizarre. So entertaining. Well, so in your quest for going offline, what does that look like to you? Mostly social media, or just kind of trying to remove yourself from exploring the internet?
Oh, it's definitely not a removing myself from exploring the internet. It's mostly social media. I think just like with the TikTokification of everything and like everything being like algorithmically generated. Yeah. Something about that freaks me out a little bit. Yeah. Not to be like conspiracy minded, like they're sheeple, they're all trying to make us the same. But like I feel like my music exploration is down, and I feel like it's just because I'm being fed the same thing over and over again.
Me too. Spotify is not coming through for me the way that it used to.
Not at all. And I'm curious, I would love to meet an Apple Music user.
Yeah.
Whoever they are and wherever they may be, because
right, there have to be some.
Right, because like it's a service that they still offer. Like, who are you? Where are you? Is it better out there? I don't know. So that like I don't love. It feels like whatever.
Yeah.
A big, huge thing in my need to or. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say the reason I've never really re-downloaded TikTok was because I did notice this at the time that I was an active user of TikTok, that Twitter was surfacing all of the videos that I was seeing on TikTok that I really did like.
Okay,
like the things that I was like, if I were to get rid of TikTok, this is the stuff that I would miss. I
Yeah.
was noticing Twitter was surfacing that anyway.
Oh, interesting.
And so I was like, okay, it's like the same algorithm here.
Mm.
And then like Instagram and Twitter, like sometimes my Instagram Explore page
Yeah.
will be entirely full of tweets.
Yeah,
So
same.
It's like I'm creating the same experience no matter where I'm going.
Yeah, that's so fair.
So it's like there's clearly like I'm a consistent person with my interests and my values, and I wonder about how do I explore that stuff without like something backing it and just showing me the same stuff over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah, I really don't understand. I mean, I understand in practice that like TikTok was so successful. I see why you might want to copy that, but no one's asking for another TikTok. Like, I just don't understand like the goals of Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, we came to your platforms because they were different.
Yeah. And then now you're making them the same. I can't get in their heads. They've
I
got
know.
crazy man brain with billions of dollars backing it.
Don't you hate when that happens?
I do. Instagram Reels, the only reason I understand that is because TikTok is banned in India, and there's like a bazillion people in India.
Sure.
So they got to capture that market, and so they were able to do that pretty successfully with Instagram Reels. But yeah, other than that, it's like I miss the old days where I could like see a friend's post
Oh my God. Same.
when they posted it, and then like and honestly, it would stay on the feed.
Yeah.
I kind of hate that they squash all of that and they show me like apartment tours, which I love, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But what happened to my friend's post?
I know.
Show me that. I don't even actually follow the apartment tours Instagram account. I just see it every
Yeah.
single time because I'm like, you know
Yeah.
what? That algorithm's got me because I don't have it myself.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's everywhere. I do follow him now. I actually, I commented on one of his, I'm never commenting on another TikTok again. I commented on one of a recent tour that he did. Cause this girl was like showing, it must've been her roommate's room. And, she had like a human-sized carrot pillow. It was huge.
Wow.
Massive carrot. And all my comment was the carrot in all caps. And I loved the carrot and I stand by my statement. But that comment is getting so many likes. And I'm like, I am so unbelievably tired of being notified that people agree with me about this carrot. Like, I'm sick of it. And it's so crazy to me because I feel like TikTok, more than any other platform, has a lot of like the comment section is just as important or engaging sometimes as the videos themselves.
I agree.
And like now when I see someone whose comment on somebody else's TikTok has like hundreds of thousands of likes, I'm like, that must suck for you.
Yeah, because like your notifications are a mess. You're not seeing anything of use
No.
in there. I do agree with you though. I think that was part of my 14-hour problem was that it wasn't even the videos.
Yeah.
I love to read an opinion.
Oh, same.
And those TikTok commenters, they have so many opinions.
People need to be clocking in and getting paid for that because people are just as funny in the comments as they literally are creating these videos.
I want someone to become like big because of their ability to comment. Like I want to follow you because every comment you leave is gold. Like,
yeah, that's amazing.
Like yeah, TikTok commentary. It's pretty good.
I mean, it's like Twitter, I guess, in some ways, just like under somebody else's post.
I know, but here's the thing. That's actually something that's changed my relationship with Twitter. I think back in the old days, I would just read the tweet, like it, call it a day.
Yeah.
But because of how I was using TikTok, that's completely bled over into how I use Twitter.
Okay,
where it's
that's
like,
interesting.
I read the tweet, I like it, and now I'm in the comments section.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Elon had really messed things up for me.
Okay.
It's by prioritizing those like paid accounts, the
Yes.
verified ones. And it's like, you guys are all brain dead, crypto, like whatever, and like little Elon fanboy. Like, I don't care about what you have to say. Give me random profile picture account with like a series of really bad words
Shit
next
posting.
to yeah, like saying the most outrageous thing anyone could in that moment.
Oh, so good. I'm
would
so
love to
glad
do
that you
that.
decided to put that onto the ether.
Yeah, because it's cheap. It costs you nothing.
Yeah, so fucking true. No,
it's just like
that's real.
carrot. It's like carrot, and then now it's like your whole thing is now carrot commenter. That's her.
No, like she's obsessed. And
Can't
at
get
least it's like it was a really good carrot. It really was. I'm like, I want one. I need to know where she got it.
So it was a bed pillow, right?
Yeah, she kind of had it laying like
Seductively.
the way that a human would lay on a bed.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Okay. Very warm, very inviting.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, like, does the carrot stay on the bed when you sleep?
Oh, I'm thinking it's like, because
Yeah.
hey, you said carrot and you said it was human sized. I'm like, yeah, that's
Full body pillow.
That's for me.
Yeah.
I'm hugging that thing.
Like a pregnancy pillow, but it's a giant carrot.
Carrot, yeah. Yeah.
So good.
So good. Do you sleep hugging something?
I feel like I'm typically a side sleeper,
Uh-huh.
but I guess sometimes I'm kind of holding a pillow.
Yeah. I'll start off that way, and then by the end of it, that pillow is off the bed.
Yeah.
So it's like we beefed at some point. I'm like,
Yeah.
no good. No
That
good.
definitely happens to me too. I feel like I'm a light sleeper. Sharing a bed is a challenge. I
Yeah.
have found that to be hard. And James sleep talks quite a bit. Loves to laugh in his sleep. I don't know what is going on in his psyche, but it is funny in there. And it is honestly so scary.
I can't imagine that. Just like in the middle of the
Yeah.
night, ha ha ha. Like
And
a
he's
man's
like-
laugh, that's unsettling a little.
Absolutely. Nothing should be funny right now at this ungodly hour.
I unfortunately have received reports that like I've laughed in my sleep, but I also think it's like, oh, like super drunk, and so it's like I was sleeping lightly anyway, and
Yeah.
I probably, you know how you're drunk and like, is this reality or
Oh my
is this
God,
a
I know.
dream? It feels like I have full control, but also like some of these physics don't make sense. Like,
Yeah. No, that's so real. I feel like I get my most bizarre sort of like sleep paralysis situations if I've had a little bit to drink.
a little bit to drink. It's like 5 a.m. and it's like you should go to the fridge and get water.
Yeah.
But you're so cozy, so lazy.
Yeah.
And also this dream is so, is this real?
Right. I know the craziest things are happening.
Yeah,
Certainly
like,
we
I
can't wake
can't-
up yet.
No, like, let me stay tuned here.
Yeah, we have to see how this plays out.
Plays out. Sleep talking, I've never done.
I have heard that I am like I'm just dead when I'm asleep. Like I don't make a sound. I barely like you have to check if I'm breathing,
Okay.
which is cool.
Nice. Do you often wake up in the same position you went to bed in?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
In that sense, I move.
Okay,
Yeah, I
okay.
definitely move. I feel like my dad is like one of those where like he literally will just like fall asleep quite literally like a dead
Oh,
person,
no.
just like hands on his chest, and he will wake up just like that the next morning.
That is so
A
crazy.
full
to
8
me.
hours later. Yeah.
I'm not like that either. I've traveled the world by
Yeah.
the time I wake up.
Yeah.
I'm not even wearing the same outfit.
Totally.
No kidding. I am wearing the same outfit, but it feels like something's happened to me. I come out changed on the other end.
What is your are you kind of what's your bed vibe? Are you top sheet, comforter?
I have switched up what I've done.
Okay.
Yeah. Previously in the past, it was just a fitted sheet. It was a comforter, and it was like a pretty flat. No, it was a pretty puffy pillow. Like,
Okay.
very firm and like high.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's changed. I think it's because like I started to sweat so much
Same.
when I've gone to bed that I became like very obsessed about the fabric.
Okay, yeah.
And then
I recently invested in all cooling everything.
really,
Yeah.
what fabric did you go with? Like
Percal?
Percal? Yeah.
That's the one.
You sprung for that a little bit.
Oh my god, yeah. She is not inexpensive.
No, but how has it improved?
Okay, I will say yes. I definitely noticed a difference in terms of temperature. However, definitely not easy on stains. So like it's greasy.
Greasy.
It is greasy and you can see. And James, I'm pro pajamas. I like to wear clothes to bed.
Okay.
James used to be anti pajamas.
Oh.
And I was like, you actually have to put pajamas on because I paid hundreds of dollars for these sheets and your body is staining them.
Oh God. Okay. When you said greasy, I was like, you guys big bed eaters?
No, I actually am very anti eating in bed.
Yeah, that's a good stance to
Yeah.
have. Yeah. Okay, interesting. So he's just like a greasy little guy, like
Yeah.
a little chicken.
Pretty hairy. So
Yeah, hair
That'll do
produces
it.
oil.
Yeah.
That'll do it indeed.
Mhm.
And that's what sucks about these nice sheets is that like I've started to maintain a lot of rules. I've actually only recently become anti eating in bed. Previously, I'm
Okay.
like, whatever, like bed is to be comfy.
yeah.
But then now with these sheets, I'm like, oh, bed is to be like respected
Yeah.
and feared a little bit.
Yes, absolutely.
I went with all linen.
Okay.
And I went with Land's End. It wasn't a Percal, but it was like something or the other. I've really enjoyed them. Polyester, like what I was noticing was like all the heat would concentrate in this one area and just not be dispersed. Linen does it a little bit better.
Yeah.
I have no idea how we ended up on this topic, but yeah, I use linen bedding now.
No, I love that.
Yeah.
I actually find it's so interesting now as we've gotten older. Like, I feel like, you know, I'm opting for a firmer mattress. Like, I can just tell my bedroom now is so supposed to be this peaceful, tranquil environment where I'm like really trying to get my best night's sleep. I feel like I didn't give a shit about that in college. I was sleeping in a bunk bed. Like, who knows? And now I can tell that, like, if I don't get a good night's rest, I am not going to be my best self.
That's actually that's kind of part of my good, bad, ugly.
Okay.
It's like my sleeping habits lately have been so, and when I say lately, I think I'm referring to just the past couple like months.
Yeah.
But it's like probably over half a year that my sleeping habits have just genuinely been bizarre.
Yeah.
And I think the whole like investing in linen thing came from like, let me solve the problem from any angle and throw money at this and see what happens. And
that's always the answer.
You would hope. I had a sad day and I bought these jeans, and these jeans were like,
they're a great pair of jeans.
They look great. They feel great. They fit great. The price on the wallet though is lighter as a result of purchasing these jeans. So I'm gonna wear them all the time and everywhere.
Yeah,
they are now stapled and tattooed on.
Those
my
are
body.
glued to you.
They're
Absolutely.
glued. And it was like one of those like, oh, I'm so sad. Surely this will solve my problems. Oh, I'm sleeping poorly. Surely investing a bunch of money into my sheets.
That's exactly what I did. Yeah,
solve the problem. I did for a little bit because I was like, yeah, gotta put these to use pretty much immediately.
Yeah. Well, on that note, let's get into your good, bad, ugly.
Sure. Okay, good. We kind of did touch on good a little bit, which is the transition into like taking something that was just kind of a fuck around hobby, something I was like, I'm gonna keep saying yes to doing this because it's fun, into like something that, okay, well, what does this mean now as I continue to spend time and invest more money into it? And like, what does it mean now that it's no longer what it started off as?
Yeah.
So I think it's very good to have something that like is challenging me in those ways.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Very cool. The bad is my sleeping habits. I have become nocturnal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I oscillate. I want to be a morning person. I want to be a morning person so bad.
They have it peaceful.
I know.
They look like they get a lot done in the day.
They glamorize it, and I am buying into the message that they are sending, like, fully. But James is a night owl, and I feel like I'm somewhere right in between. Like, what time do you usually go to sleep?
Midnight.
Yeah. I feel like I'm like 11 or midnight.
Oh, okay.
And James is like 1 or 2.
Oh, okay.
And so if I know that he's just going to come to bed in a couple of hours, I feel like I'm probably not actually going to fall fully into my deepest sleep, because I'm like, I know I'm going to be disturbed here in a sec.
Yeah.
And so then I'm like, maybe I'll just stay up. That's when I pull out my phone. That's when TikToks just keep coming. And I'm like, okay, this is so unhealthy, and I should be probably trying to sleep at like 10 p.m. But I can't bring myself to do it.
Neither can I. There's something so uninteresting to me about that. It's not like I'm solving something or bettering myself or like, I just need to exist at that time.
Yeah.
Like, it just is what it is. But due to like my incredibly fluctuating habits, like this summer, I actually did get into going to bed at around 10 and then waking up at around like 6 or 7.
That's so good.
So good. And I think the only way I was able to pull it off is because I was watching TV.
Yeah, okay.
From 6 to 7 from 7 to like 8 or 9 in the morning before work.
See, that feels so like, what a special treat.
It is. It feels like nobody else is doing this except for me right now, which is what I think that's what I used to like about being a night owl, is that like I would get like a special few hours to myself to just like,
sure, but now everybody's doing it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm still getting texts. It's like it feels like everybody's time. Yeah. But nobody's a morning person now. I got to be contrarian and different, and wow, I'm watching TV at 6 to 7 in the morning. But well,
because I've gotten into a really, really bad habit of I just like roll over and get on my first meeting of the day. It's awful.
It's so bad. I really didn't know what that was doing to me until I stopped doing it.
Yeah.
Same thing with breakfast. They're onto something with that whole, you have to eat that. Like, that's crazy.
Not lying. Yeah.
No. You cannot wake up, have a cup of coffee, and have your first meeting all in the same 30 minutes.
No, it's not right. That is bad for your psyche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe like when I was younger, there was like a little bit of resilience or like blood flowing that was able to do that. No, right now that is a very violent way to treat myself. Like, it's
Absolutely.
so bad.
I know. No self-love going on there.
This past week, as far as nocturnalness goes, it's really hit like a really like, it's almost even ugly, some might say. It blurs those lines pretty quickly. Monday was our last improv class, and those end at 10
p.m.
late.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that being the last class, and like, oh, some of these people I'm never gonna see again, actually, just because like they're moving on, doing other things. Stayed out a little bit later. I ended up getting home at like 2ish.
Classic.
2ish, yeah. Oh yeah, very classic for a Monday into Tuesday when you have a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. Very classic.
Totally.
So that was kind of an issue. I had also received the COVID flu joint vaccination on Monday.
Good for you. I need to do that.
Yeah, I was already at the doctor's, and I kind of forgot how that treated me, like that shot combo, until I was like, it was like around 2 a.m. when I got home. I'm like, oh, I'm feverish and tired and achy and like I feel awful. I'm like, oh fuck, it's the vaccine.
That's quite a combination of things.
It is. It is. And so I took Tuesday off.
Okay, yeah. And that is treating yourself with respect.
Treating myself with respect. I sleep through most of the day, and that was the issue at hand, because now night rolls around.
Now you're fucked.
Now I'm fucked. Well, it's like I'm awake.
Yeah.
I try to half-ass it, but I sleep like whatever. Wednesday rolls around. Wednesday's our last improv show.
Right.
So we're from 8 to 9. That's the show. And then I set a strict boundary with myself. I'm like, I'm leaving wherever we are at like 11ish midnight, like to get home, get into bed.
Mm-hmm.
I do all of that. None of that is the issue.
Mm-hmm.
I turn the TV on when I get home. Oh, I'm watching it. They got some stuff on there. I'm tuned in. I'm tuned in till like 2 in the morning.
Lots of good stuff on there.
A lot of good stuff on there. And now it's 2 a.m. and now I'm not asleep.
Yeah.
So I am going through the motions on Thursday, and I very quickly realized something. Tonight I'm going to Maggie Rogers with my friends. That's not an early night again. So now Thursday night I'm back in bed, and it's 1 or 2 in the morning, can't fall asleep. I'm back in front of the TV doing that. Friday, I'm not doing, at this point, I have not done work all week.
Totally.
It's actually such a huge, I don't know why I'm not more panicked about this. I think I'm going to go home after this podcast and be like, we need to get our shit together. Like, we actually need to produce something and say that we did that last week.
I know how that goes.
So even like coming here today, I slept between 4 a.m. and 9 a.m. That was my sleep before this podcast.
Oh no.
I know. What am I gonna do though? It's clearly I'm fucked. This is the rest of my life after this 1 week.
No, seriously, this is you now.
Yeah.
Night owl.
Oh, but I used to do this in high school too, where I would get home at like 3 or whatever, and I would sleep from 3 to 10.
Yeah.
That was my night of sleep. That was 7 hours right there. So now I'm up, just waiting for the next day to roll around.
I feel like that was me too. And like in college, you famously never get a wink of sleep. And somehow I could operate on that. It really wasn't a big deal.
Yeah. But I also was like more irritable.
Sure.
And I had like, I would say a lot more personality flaws. I'm wondering if that was what that was.
That actually is so true. Like I'm sitting there being like, now I'm just a fully developed person. But it's like, I also was like really not giving myself the tools needed for basic survival.
No, but also, hey, remember being those ages, like the world was against you. You had to do
so
something.
True.
I don't know what was going on specifically, but
They're
I had
out
to
get
adjust.
us. Yeah. It's hard.
Sleeping from 3 to 10, I'm sure there was a really good reason for it.
Yeah, yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We have to tell ourselves that.
We have to, because that's part of my narrative now. That is just what I did during those years. So
absolutely. I know. I think it was actually interesting even being in Madison this last week, because we stayed for a few nights at James's parents' house, and his parents were traveling. And so we were sleeping in their bedroom, and I was like, this room is so clearly for sleeping. And I feel like as you grow older, like that really is the purpose. Like they have one of those like fancy, like it's practically 2 twin beds that are just happen to be conjoined, where you can kind of like pick how high you want it and all of the different settings and firmness and all of these things. And then they have sleep masks. I mean, they're doing it up. They do not play about their sleep.
And they shouldn't, because like this past week when I've been taking those hits, it's like during the waking hours I'm supposed to be awake. I don't know what I'm doing. Like,
I know.
Like Friday was so bad. I like slept. I fell asleep at like 2, and I had dinner plans with someone, so I like slept from like 2 to 6. But it's like before 2 p.m. What was I doing?
No, absolutely.
Like I was staring.
I've had a lot of those days. Yeah.
And I hate that. Like, I
Yeah.
do need my days again. Like, what does it mean for a person to do nothing?
Yeah.
I don't want to do nothing.
Yeah.
I want to do something.
No, right. Well, and I think that's also the interesting part about like the morning person versus night owl conversation, because I wouldn't say, maybe it's all in my head, but I feel like if I were a morning person, I would be using those hours more productively than I use them at night. Because for some reason at night, I'm like, I can't actually, it's nighttime, I should be sleeping, so I can't really use this time for anything useful because the world is asleep. So instead, I'll consume something somewhere.
And we have very similar thought processes.
Yeah.
I agree with you. It feels like morning is inherently more productive, and night is
Yeah.
meant for like chilling, hanging around,
Right.
standing.
Absolutely. I'm lucky if I'm standing. I am sitting, I perhaps laying.
Bro, horizontal. That is what, because ultimately that is what nighttime is for. Being
Yes,
horizontal.
So true.
My eyes are just open
I'm
during
fulfilling
it.
my duty. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's also part of why I prefer night over morning. I do say that I don't like to do any, like, I want to make sure I'm doing something and being productive and all of that. But I do like that at nighttime you're given the opportunity to do nothing. There's no guilt associated with it.
Right. It's very easy to trick myself into believing that that is perfectly fine.
Fine, yeah. Because like, oh, what else was I going to do? Not watch TV?
Right.
I wasn't going to go garden. Where's the sun? I also
Literally.
don't have a garden anyway.
It's so true. Always a good place to start. Okay, well, I would love to know you're ugly.
My ugly is actually my beautiful car. It's a Hyundai Sonata, and those are gorgeous cars. But the issue with that car is that it gets stolen often, and it got stolen.
Yeah, the Hyundai boys.
Yeah.
No, that was the Kia boys.
Kia boys, but they got two things going on.
Okay, totally.
So they specialize in Kias and Hyundais.
Right.
The thing with those cars is that you're able, like, within a certain model year range, you can get into the car, stick a USB thing in, start the car, and just take it. And that happened to me December of 2022.
No. No.
And I parked it in like a parking lot. It was well lit, blah, blah, blah. The neighborhood that I was living in, it was in Minneapolis. And this neighborhood, it like depends on who you ask, whether or not they say it's a bad neighborhood. Sure. I feel like if you're overly cautious, you're like, yeah, bad neighborhood. But if you're like, you're aware you live in a city, like it's a fine neighborhood.
Yeah.
And so I go down to the parking lot where I always park the car, and I'm like, it's simply not here.
Oh no.
I saw a tweet a couple days earlier that's like, car thefts in Minneapolis up 900%.
A substantial percentage.
And in my head, I was like, oh yeah, next time I take that thing out, I should go get a steering wheel lock, protect myself. But next time I go down there, yeah, it is. Next time I go down there, there's no car to steering wheel lock.
Right.
This was a couple years ago, though. So why isn't my ugly now? Well, Labor Day weekend.
Oh, no.
I go to wherever I was, Houston, and then I come back and I enter my house, and I know that to the left of where I was entering, that is where the car hypothetically should have been. And it did not catch my eye at the moment. I put an air tag in it after the first theft. And
smart.
Very smart. And I was like, I could check that and deal with this at 11 p.m. at night, or I could go to bed and then
tomorrow problem. Ignorance is bliss, after all.
It is. But I am unfortunately a very curious cat.
Totally.
And I will get killed by oncoming traffic if I were to be an outdoor cat. I checked the location of it after like a few hours of sitting in bed, doing, typical night owl stuff, which is absolutely nothing. And I see that air tag is a couple blocks away in a part of the neighborhood that I don't typically park in, just simply because I know within a 1 block radius, I'm able to find a spot.
Okay.
And I'm like,
interesting to not take it very far.
That's my big issue with it. You're going to commit a crime and then not like actually do anything. Right. Fuck you. Take that car, total it. Do the crime to its fullest extent. You are so lame for just creating an inconvenience for me. That's all
so
you did.
True. That's so true.
So I like see the air tag and I'm like trying to rationalize it as like maybe I was in a goofy mood and I put it over there. No. I'm a creature of habit, just like the curious cat that I am. So I knew that wasn't me. I take charge. I walk over there and
Good for you.
thank you. I was not thinking about the fact that this was night and maybe the theft like was ongoing. I didn't think of any of that
This is
stuff.
a crime committed.
Yeah, I didn't think of any of that stuff. I'm like, that's my car. Gotta go look at it.
Rescue her.
So I'm over there. I'm looking at it. It is parked neatly in the garage of a home that's being currently renovated, and so there's like
my
obviously
goodness.
no one that lives there or anything like
Okay.
that, and like the garage door is fully open and all that. So I'm looking at it. It's looking at me. I'm like, all right, well, you were stolen.
You coming home with me?
Like, yeah, let's. How bad is it this time? I do a full sweep of the car. It's undrivable. Call the cops. I learned a term. Do you know what a
Okay.
paddy wagon is?
No.
It is that kind of cop car that looks like that Amazon truck. You're gonna have to put a picture in for
Okay.
the other viewers. But like you've seen cop cars that kind of look like that.
Of course.
Apparently that's called a paddy wagon. I only learned that Thursday.
Paddy wagon.
Paddy wagon. So one of those pulls up, two guys get out. They're like, what happened here? I'm like, car got stolen. And they're like, how do you know? I'm like, well, that's my car.
No, literally. Hello. I don't live here.
I don't live here. That's my car. This is in a place that I've never been to. Like, this is new to me. We're all on vacation here together. And they're like, what are we supposed to do about it? I'm like, well, typically at this point we file a report. I give it to insurance, and then we sort it out. So all I really need from
Am
you
I
is,
supposed to be telling you this?
yeah, like, hang on, like, aren't you this is your thing?
You're in charge.
And I'm assuming this isn't the first, because then they're like, yeah, we see a lot of this. I'm like, you're acting like it's brand fucking new.
Yeah, could have fooled me.
Yeah, like, okay, all right. And so as this is happening, a lady, helpful at first, but ultimately, she comes down. She's like, yeah, you guys gonna do something about this car? And I'm like, yeah, that's
Somebody said it.
yeah. So we are, thank you. And she's like, yeah, it's been here for 3 days. I'm like, oh, that's useful information. Wow. Okay, so yep. Sorry that I couldn't attend to it. I was out of town, so we're here dealing with it now. She's like, yeah, I called the alderman on it.
Oh,
and yeah, they're
of all people.
right, like, yeah, when I see something suspicious, I'm like, who's gotta know?
My alderman.
My alderman.
Yes.
You're from out of the city, so I'm like, I don't even know what that role really is in the large community, but
I don't even know if I contributed to putting that person in office.
Yeah.
I have absolutely no idea.
no clue. Hopefully, Matt Martin, if you're out there, shout out to you. I'm sure you're a great guy. I just don't know what you do for me personally. You do a lot for this woman, I'm assuming, because she was like, yeah, let them
Got you on
know.
speed dial.
Speed dial. She's like, yeah, they're supposed to come tow it on Monday. I'm like, great. Sounds good. Thank you for all this information. And she's like, yeah, this neighborhood, it's just like, it started off fine, but I'm starting to see more and more of these. This is midnight, I might add.
Okay,
I'm starting to
totally.
see like more and more of these like quirks where it's just like things are just not being attended to at the right time. And like, you know what, the couple days ago over there at that block, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I look at her, I'm like, hey, you've been really helpful. I'm like trying to like summon every amount of like patience that I can.
Yeah.
You've been really helpful so far and like helping me figure out when this happened and all that. But I think your job here might be like
It's done.
over. Can we, I hate to word it this way, but can we bring the focus back to me?
Right.
And then she
I'm
like,
experiencing something.
yeah, like, and you're just kind of,
I'm
you're
the victim of a
podcasting.
crime. Yeah.
And you're just like just shooting the shit. Also, go home. It's midnight. What were you doing right now?
Seriously.
But I was thankful for her for the information that she offered. Not like the cops were gonna do anything with it. I don't think they like hunt or chase anything down.
Yeah.
In this capacity. So I was able to recover the car. Chicago being the great, wonderful, walkable city that it is, like the car was within walking distance during the repairs and it's turned over and all of that. But I think that motherfucker is not letting me sleep. Like I think that like even when I was napping yesterday, I like kept hearing car alarms go off. I'm like, well, there she goes again.
Right. I feel like at this point you've had to sort of detach from her.
Yeah.
In case she's not there tomorrow.
Exactly. So and I know I could sell it and whatever, but the act of selling a car just
Yeah.
is like more inconvenient almost than like having
I
it.
completely
Yeah.
agree.
So
Do you use your car often in the city or not so much?
I drive it a couple times a week. So
Okay.
it's like often, but would I say it's necessary? No. So
Yeah.
like it could be a very easy lifestyle adjustment if I chose to forego it. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have one. We share a car. I mean, it's James's. I sold my car upon moving here. I really don't like driving in the city if I can help it.
Yeah.
But I have never had a car stolen, and that does not sound like a fun experience.
No, pretty stupid as far as it goes.
Do you keep things in your car?
No. Especially I don't know. I've lived in the cities for in cities for quite a while. And I've discovered it's very disconcerting to even like have things visible in the car that people go through. In Minneapolis, like one time I must have left the car door unlocked and a pair of sunglasses was stolen out, and it's just like, and just to see you even being like ruffled, I'm like, oh, like this is my place.
Just knowing somebody, right, it's a violation.
It is,
yeah. Well, I'm sorry that happened to you. We've got to get you that tire lock. Do you have one now?
I do have one now.
Okay,
so that's almost the worst part about the story, is that I had it too, like when it got stolen this time around. I just like stopped using it because like the area of Chicago that I lived in, I was like, there's 8-year-olds running around at all hours of like night and day.
Family friendly,
extremely family friendly. So I was like, I'm not super worried about this, and this feels like a paranoid move. And I don't know, I just like didn't use it, but now I use it religiously, like even though it's like parked right here broad daylight, it's on just in case, because you never know.
No, it's good to instill those habits in yourself.
It is but yeah, it's not, I think part of the sleep issue is a little bit of that.
Oh, that's terrible.
It's like lifestyle, ownership of the car and all that. I do know I'll get over it.
Yeah. No, sometimes I feel like it just takes a couple months of your car not being stolen to feel secure.
Right. Like, oh, that was a freak event.
It's
totally fine after that. But yeah, that's my good, bad, ugly. Good.
Okay, I love it.
New goals in life. Bad sleep.
There's nothing worse.
They're really, I'm glad you agree with that, because I do feel like sometimes that, I don't know, maybe it's just because like comedy is just like late night. I'm like, how are the rest of you doing this? Like, I know that there's a lot of people that just go home immediately after class, and I like try to strike a balance. And then like with some people, I'm like, how is this working for you? Well, and
it's hard because you see them, like that's also your social time then, but and it has night owls.
And it's like really easy to lean into that and want to lean into that. I'm lucky though that like my classes are no longer going to be on weekdays. They're no longer going to end at 10 p.m.
10 is late.
10 is late
on a school night.
But oh brother, poor me. Especially because I'm not showing up to school the next day. I'm playing hooky. Tuesdays have always been a little tough in that way. So I'm happy to maybe get a full week of work back, because I'm clearly not doing that now. So
totally.
Holy shit.
Hey, I mean, honestly, if you can skirt out of getting your job done, that's awesome. If you can get paid for not working,
it is,
you're tricking the system.
It is, but I have like such a good gig going with my workplace that like if I fumble this, like that is gonna be very annoying, because then I'm gonna have to like go to a new place and learn all of that stuff, and I'm not,
quite literally the worst.
I'm not interested in career growth at this moment in time, so
I respect that so much.
I like early 20s, I was like, oh, I understand this. We have goals here and we can achieve them. And because of academics, I am aware of how that works. So I will translate those skills here and achieve very medium results despite all the effort that I put in. But I don't know. It's nice to like not have to do that anymore, so.
I feel like I was very much sold the fantasy of a career woman, and then I was like, oh, actually you could just have hobbies that are fulfilling, and your job can just be for a paycheck, and that's fine.
And that job funds those hobbies, and that's the system. That
is like literal bliss. That's what that is.
It is. In your early 20s though, it is like easy to latch onto career, because I think I don't know. Everybody, it's like some people are so good at like having maintained hobbies from high school through college through like their 20s. I definitely like put everything on pause for college.
Same.
Not because I was like academically doing anything, but it was just like there was so much college to do. You know?
No, that in and of itself was a hobby. That was a full-time gig.
I was hanging out left and right, absolutely. Up and down, going to dinners, going there, drinking here, drinking there.
Well, and I think, it's not easy to necessarily find hobbies when you're an adult. I think that is like something that you have to sort of actively explore and honestly you have to sink time and money into it, valuable resources. But when you do, it's so fulfilling. And then I think you find something like an improv or a podcast or whatever it may be, that then, you can just like, being an adult and realizing that you can take a class, how awesome is that?
So awesome. And there's so many classes to be taken too.
Absolutely.
Chicago's so full of opportunity that it is. Even if like at any moment, if like I didn't like this improv thing, I was like, I could take a ceramics course, or I could like go take an architecture thing, or like just like pivot in so many different directions. I do think that there's like a little bit of a hack to finding hobbies. I have a little bit of a theory, and I would like to run it past you.
Yes, let's explore.
I think that some of the stuff that you're into as a kid must be revisited as an adult.
I love
and like
that.
if you can put a progression on it and like make it fit into like more of an adult vibe, then I think that like you can start to find something of a hobby there.
Oh, I love that.
In high school, I was like involved with speech and debate. It wasn't like my whole thing, and I wasn't necessarily like good at it, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And then like I kind of didn't follow through with it in college because, like I said, it was just like something that I enjoyed doing because I think a lot of my friends were into it. Didn't put a lot of thought into it in college, and so once this like improv thing started to like click with me, I was like, oh, you know what, that totally makes sense, because I was like in adjacent spaces when I was younger.
Yeah Plus then you get to mix in humor with it. I mean, that's like the best of both worlds.
It is. Do you think that like podcasting had like a little bit of a seed somewhere when you were growing up? Like, did you like to interview your friends? Did you like to watch like daytime TV interviews?
I definitely watched a lot of like interview style shows. I also feel like even, I don't know, like I feel like I always glamour, like my Barbies were always like newscasters, like whose Barbies are newscasters, but like that was definitely something. And so, you know, I'm happy that I'm not a newscaster by trade, but that actually makes total sense, like this being sort of an avenue for that.
No way. Yeah, like I like that. It fulfills it a little bit.
Yeah. Because, I love that. And I think, you know, I think what I also need to do more of, aside from, you know, this is a creative output, and I do feel pressure to do it sometimes, you know, like it's because I care about it, but I need a hobby that I don't give a shit about too. Something with my hands. I need to create something that nobody ever sees, you know?
Yeah. Oh my God. I used to like paint, and that used to be like my thing.
Yeah.
But I miss that. Like,
me too.
Because it was just like something shitty. It would occupy like thousands of hours, and like
well, even like little things like your candy that you made.
Oh my God.
You know?
Yeah.
Where it's like, this is just for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God. Cooking could be a good one, but I guess James has that kind of cornered right now.
He really does. And I gotta say, I love when he cooks me a meal. I have never been like confident in the kitchen. I have to follow a recipe. I don't have like an intuition for cooking per se. So I've always found it like intimidating. And I cooked a lot in college with one of my friends. Like her and I would always go to the grocery store together and pretty much make majority of our meals together. And that was really fun. I like when it can be like a shared activity. But I don't know. I love food, but I don't feel called to cooking.
Have you ever baked? I hate baking because I feel like that's maybe too prescriptive.
I know, it's so exact. It's such a science. Yeah. I love the outcome of baking.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I love the process.
The process of it.
Yeah.
I do feel you though, because I don't actually have anything that I just like put my hands to use to output something. I'll like, when I travel every once in a while, I'll buy like a Lego kit of like,
oh, fun,
like the Hoover Dam, or like,
I think I would love those.
Yeah. Oh my God, Legos in general. Have you like gotten into those? Because that's like kind of a big thing right now.
They are huge, but however, I was going to start in purchasing and investing. Expensive.
They're
so expensive.
Yeah, hobbies, man.
I know. What is up with that? I do love a puzzle. That's something.
That is something.
Yeah.
I also like, I kind of wish I had something with my hands that was a little mindless. Like I could get into like a loop with it. I think I really want to, what I'm trying to say is I really would love to get into like knitting or crocheting or something like that.
I was knitting for a while, honestly, back in like high school, and it was so fun. It was actually funny. I still have all my like yarn and knitting needles. Haven't touched it in years. Moved it to like 3 new apartments by now. But I'm always like, I'm going to tap back into that someday. And we like brought that stuff out. I must have been like, I think I needed, I don't know. We must have left it out. And I woke up the next morning to what was literally like straight out of a movie scene, like our yarn everywhere.
Oh,
the cats. Yeah. I felt like my house was booby trapped.
oh, those sneaky little guys.
I know.
Whoa.
I did like roll most of it back up, but I do think most of it is unusable now.
And I think that might put you off from doing it ever again.
I know.
Bummer. They got a hobby out of it, but
seriously,
it was for you.
But they spoiled mine.
Oh, so sad.
Such a shame. Okay, well, my last question for you.
Yeah.
Is your hater mode activated today?
Oh, yeah, I think it is. If you get me on TikTok for any amount of time, like I will spend the rest of the day being like, you know what? Yeah, they're poisoning the minds. They're doing whatever. So yeah, I hate TikTok. I hate that I don't have a hobby that I can't like just mindlessly put my hands to. Ooh. Yeah, is that what you're going for?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is your hater mode activated? Do I ask you back?
You absolutely can.
Yeah.
I would say mine is today. I kind of just woke up. It's one of those days. I'm ready to complain about some stuff.
Okay.
So, and I like woke up this morning also on a horrible night's rest.
Ooh.
Which really will just set you right off.
It will, especially when it's a beautiful fall Saturday like this. I hate that I kind of am hatery right now.
I know.
Yeah, I woke up, I was like feeling kind of spiteful. And then I was like, I'm going to make this like candy thing. Maybe that'll relax me a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. Oh, can I actually say something?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I save like every time someone sends me an address, I like kind of put it in Google Maps. I like label it just because you never know, and it's just kind of fun to see where everyone lives.
Absolutely, I agree.
Opinion. I like collect people like that, I guess.
That's why I love Find My Friends.
Yeah. Oh, I actually kind of hate that one, but I totally. It's like the same thing. It is like basically the same thing. It's just I don't have your live location when I label it, right?
Sure.
I noticed that one of my friends lives around here, and he is like. He's like, I feel like he'd be good to prank, and I've never pranked him before. He's new. He's like a new friend. I met him through improv. I noticed that he lives around here, and I was like, you know what? I need to take advantage of the fact that I'm only a 10 minutes walk from him right now. I'm never on the side of the town. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to write a letter, and it's going to be a letter from like a neighbor of his. And it's going to be like, and something that it needs to be said about this man is that he wears 2 pairs of glasses. I'm pretty sure
my grandma does something similar.
Where I think he is old enough that he has 2 sets.
Yeah.
I think they're identical in prescription and all that. He just has 2 of them.
Yep.
I kind of want to write a letter from like a neighbor being like, the occupancy of your unit is 1 person, but I have noticed 2 different people come out of this, and I feel like you are harboring identical twins, and I know you think you're getting away with something, but you're really not. And I just want to slip that letter into his mailbox.
I'm obsessed.
And then I'm like also the type of person where it's like if I do a prank, I really don't need to see the outcome, but I kind of like want.
That is so insane.
I know it is because it's like what do I get out of it? And the answer is nothing.
Oh my gosh,
it's just like
that's the whole point of a prank.
I just like to mildly inconvenience someone because like now he's gonna be like, what fucking neighbor? Like why? Also, what a weird thing to be like very passionate about is the fact that 2 people may live in a single occupancy apartment, and it also does that exist as a concept? I don't care. I want to do it so bad. I can't wait to do it.
I'm loving this. I can't believe that sort of prank just came to you like that.
Oh, it took a few minutes while driving.
I love that. I don't prank, but perhaps I'm feeling inspired to get into it.
Yeah. Hey, could be a hobby. Could be something quick to do with your hands. We're all about creation hobbies this year. So like,
oh my God, I'm loving that. Well, I can't wait. I need to know the outcome personally. I hope that the prank happens. He says absolutely nothing to you because why would he assume that it's you? And then he listens to this podcast.
Oh my God, that would be so crazy if he were to do. I don't think he would be the type to listen to this whole thing at all. So that'd be so funny if he did.
Oh my God, that's so good. Well, I need to meet this person. I'm going to confront him about it. If I ever meet him, I'm going to be like, I heard about this. I heard you have 2 pairs of specs.
Can I actually like borrow a piece of paper and a pen? Because I didn't come prepared for this prank. Okay.
That I would love to be able to participate in some small way.
Okay.
Well, thank you for joining me on this pod. This was so fun.
Thank you for having me. I was very intimidated, but this went.
I'm sorry the sun is like attacking you.
A little bit. That's why I kind of did shift, rotate a little bit, but no big deal. I love the sun. Happy to have her for as long as we can.
So true. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we have to send her that energy.
Stay.
Seriously.
But also not 80 degrees in October. Find something else.
Right. We have to strike a balance. Well, this was amazing. I would love to have you on again sometime.
And I would love to be back.
You're going to be a series brag.
Oh my. Whoa. Hang on. Well, promoted.
But yeah, this was so fun to hang out. And thank you guys for listening. We will be back with another episode next week. Bye. And that's a wrap. I had fun. How about you? As always, thank you for living, laughing, loving, and most importantly, listening to my podcast. Want to stay in the loop? You can find us at Pessimistic at Best on Instagram, or if it's me you're looking for, that'll be at Sam Georgeson on all platforms. Don't forget to rate and review the show, and if bonus content is your thing, you can gain access to extra episodes by joining our Patreon. The link is in our show notes. And last but certainly not least, shout out to James for being the brains behind this operation. Couldn't do it without you, honey. Okay, see you next week.